Across the Flow FM network, a Flow News 24 update.
Well, on Flow FM, we go to our news desk and the headlines for today. It is Thursday, the 10th of August, and from the Australian, and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has defended that Labor's new policy position in regard to Israel, with his party to now formally recognise the West Bank and Gaza as occupied Palestinian territories. However, Anthony Albanese stresses that his government is a strong supporter of Israel and its right to exist. And meanwhile, former Labor Minister Stephen Conroy has rejected suggestions that the policy shift is aimed at averting a backlash from the left faction over the AUKUS alliance at the party's upcoming national conference. It's the first time we've moved to not recognise Israel and its right over Jerusalem. And from former Prime Ministers, including Bob Hawke, were at pains to ensure that that stayed in place. So it's a very, very different position being taken by the Albanese government, which is moving further to the left of politics. And again, we look at the political row that is over the Uluru Statement. Now, this is from the Australian today, Rosie Lewis and Paige Taylor, and they talk about this Uluru Statement from the heart. And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese insists that it comprises of just one A4 page. In response to a question from Deputy Leader Susan Lee, Albanese noted that Professor Megan Davis, a member of the Referendum Working Group, has confirmed that the Uluru Statement from the heart comprises one page and 439 words. But Susan Lee had contended that Professor Davis had previously stated that the document was 18 or 20 pages in length, while documents released under Freedom of Information laws have suggested that the full Uluru Statement is 26 pages. Anthony Albanese has rejected claims that the government is trying to cover up the existence of a longer version. Well, I have seen a 125-page document that goes in not just to the Uluru Statement of the Heart, but the treaty and reparations and land ownership, and those questions being answered in a more wider statement. So it is one of those that Anthony Albanese, I don't think, can shy away from. He's trying to make it sound very simple and easy, when in actual fact there's a whole lot more to the argument at the Voice referendum that the people should be made aware of and should be able to read those statements in full and make their decision. We move to the Bosses Blast ACTU's Price Gouge probe. And from the Australian with Ewan Hannon, she says the ACTU has commissioned an inquiry into alleged price gouging by large companies. It will be headed by former Australian Competition and Consumer Commission Chairman Alan Fels, who says price gouging has real consequences during a cost of living crisis. The inquiry will accept submissions from the public, and it may make recommendations to the ACTU on policy solutions to limit future price gouging. However, employers groups contend that the ACTU has already determined the outcome of the inquiry. And one would ask why not include the employer groups as part of the formation of the inquiry. And the ACTU could work together with employer groups and come up with a good system to identify where price gouging occurs, whether it be in the fuel sector or whether it be in the retail sector or in the banking sector. These are very real issues that can be talked about from both sides of politics. And that is a look at what's on our news headlines this morning.
A Flow News 24 update.